Today in VR, the news is dominated by the PSVR 2 hype. Steamfest is currently going on with a bunch of new PCVR titles, and Among Us finally has a new map on the way for the MetaQuest systems. All that and more, so let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to episode 74. I'm your host, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by the one and only Samson. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am doing well. It started to sleet here today, which was a little odd.
Sleet?
Yeah.
Sleet?
It's sleet. It's like frozen, frozen rain, if you will.
Interesting.
Weekend was really cold here.
Yeah?
Also.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, what kind of temperatures are you getting?
I mean, over the weekend, it was definitely like below 0 Celsius.
So...
if you will. Yeah, it was like below 0 Fahrenheit, dude. So it was pretty cold Celsius. I can't
Wow, that's definitely below. Wow, it's okay here in Vancouver. It's not bad. It's just a little rainy, as it always is. But I was sick on the weekend. Still sick now, so apologies for people hearing my voice. It might be a bit stuffy, but we're gonna rock on here and do this podcast. Samson, you get any playtime in, considering it's been sleeting and minus zeros or whatever?
No, I was busy. I had 2 surprise birthdays this past weekend, one in Connecticut, one in Jersey Shore. So I was busy driving around. And then Sunday, I had about enough energy to close myself in a dark room and play Pokemon Ruby for 5 hours.
Oh, you must have got quite far then. Ish, maybe. I don't know. That's a long game.
Yeah, I would not go that far. I feel like I've only just begun. Really.
you finally got out the second town or something.
Yeah,
that's fair. No,
Magikarp just evolved, so.
Oh, how fun! You got a nice Gyarados.
Yeah.
Nice Gyarados. I remember back in Pokemon Silver days, you get the red Gyarados. It was like a rare one that you could find, and they had a glitch in the game. It was to do with how you store your Pokemon in the Pokemart or wherever you store them on the computer. But there was like a glitch where if you turn it off as it's saving, it clones your Pokemon. So you just kept
cloning the red one.
Don't know how I figured that out because this was pre-internet.
You're like gaming here. There's no way this is pre-internet. Dude.
Well, not pre-internet, but like I'm searching this on the internet, Like, I don't know how I knew about those glitches. Like, I come to remind, like, how do people remember all these, like, cheat codes for GTA and such back when there was
my entire like, life, of video games that I can remember definitely began as, like, 2nd, 3rd grade, probably. So I'm, like, 8, 9.
Yeah.
And, I feel like pretty early on, I would buy magazines, a lot of magazines, and I feel like GameFAQs.com existed and still does, like in its old form too. They haven't modernized that. So if you want to know what that shit looked like back then, like go on right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
The magazines, I forgot about the magazines. Which makes me remember that I forgot to look up that magazine that I won the Game Boy in that I talked about last week's episode. I'll have to add that on my list. I totally forgot to look at that. But I think for me, I've not been playing much VR just because of getting sick on Sunday. But before that, I did play some Walkabout Atlantis with my uncle. Scored a -30. Yeah, I scored a -13 on the easy mode. He scored a -19 on the easy mode. On the hard mode, I won. I think I got like +4, +5. He got like +11. And then we did one more. Which one did we did? Easy mode for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And once again, he got like -17 or something.
Yeah, that's a particularly,
Yeah. So, he roasted
me. Wait, we played with the Discord, right? Or was that before last pod? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we played it with the Discord as well. We played
Jenna, Kim. We had a huge game. It was a huge game.
We had 8 people.
We're playing 9 holes going forward. 9 holes.
Yeah.
It was like a marathon, dude. It was like well over 2 hours.
Yeah. And we had people drop out after hole 12 or hole 13, right? Because
it was a great time. Great time. Great
Yeah.
time.
And we're playing the hard mode too, because the hard mode obviously takes longer because there's more people
I
stroking
was
out and
tired.
such,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it does happen. But yeah, I realize why they won't put the numbers up more than 8, because it's just it doesn't make it fun. It's best to break it up, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, next time we have a full house, it might be worth doing 9. Or if we're playing earlier, then we could do full 18.
Mm. I mean, you can always do a full 18 in
Yeah,
nines.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Some people just drop out in general. But yeah, go on.
I mean, there's a trade-off, right? They could increase it to like 10 people and you do 3 holes. Or like
Yeah.
you do 5 hole game. You somehow,
Would it even handle it though?
change how
Because
the
it's
rules.
already getting a bit choppy with the Atlantis update with the increased visuals on Quest 2. But I was going to ask you actually, because you were playing
Yeah, I've been playing on
Atlantis on
Steam.
Steam. How is it on Steam? Do you notice any difference or
Yeah, dude. I think I do.
you do?
Bit more details on the bubbles, like that are
Yeah.
floating.
But what about like
Um,
performance wise? Because the Quest 2 now stutters a little bit when you teleport. So I was wondering,
I don't think that I've played it. So we played like the pre-release version, and I
hmm,
know that that was a bit like I noticed it there, but I feel like it got
the
like
public
Dave said it
version?
got yeah, Dave said it was updated a bit. Like
Yeah.
so but I don't notice it at all on Steam though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just following up on the point you made last week, you just asked me what it was like between Quest 2, Quest Pro. As I said to you in game on Wednesday, the Quest Pro one did look better. Yeah, you noticeably like as soon as now the Quest Pro is gone. Still haven't got the refund of it, so I'm slightly nervous. But now the Quest Pro is gone. The Quest 2 does look with the walkabout noticeably more foggier, which actually works for Atlantis because it's just like you are underwater and it makes it feel a little bit more underwater. But it is a little bit not grainier, just like there's like a mist in front of it a little bit,
Hmm.
just a tiny filter on it. But it's one of those things that you just get used to after a couple of game sessions and you forget, about what
Yeah,
the quest,
100%.
you know. Um, but it is one of
I
the
only ever really noticed it when I went back and forth like quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You forget it quite easily. One thing that's different though is using the Quest 2 controllers compared to the Quest Pro controllers for golfing. I am significantly worse with the Quest 2 controllers at the moment. I don't know if
Really?
it's because they're lighter. I actually think that's it. I think it's because they're lighter. My strokes aren't that consistent. It's like getting a actual new putter. Like if the putter's
Yeah.
heavier, it takes the time to get used to and such. And I think because it's lighter, I've been missing a lot of shots to the left or to the right, for whatever reason. I'm just getting my timing wrong. So it generally makes a difference. It
I want
generally
to
makes a difference in that respect.
I want to use my golf attachment sometime for it because I see that you can
You
like I
can now,
tried it
yeah.
early on and it was like your hand was way
No.
at the floor. It didn't work well. But now I think
Now
it's
it's got
built
proper support. Yeah, before it never had support.
proper
Um,
support.
Proper support. Yeah.
Wait. Say controversy
Controversy? Con
because every Brit I watch says it's so funny.
Controversy?
It's
Controversy?
like I
Let's
can't even remember how it is, but I remember like I was watching YouTube and I was like, what word are they saying? I was like, oh, I like had to spell it in my head.
controversy. Controversy. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe because
Yeah.
you just said it, I'm saying it a little bit
I
enunciated
know
the
I
same.
wanted to ask this by like typing it, but I was like, I've gone too far.
Yeah, never mind. It
Yeah.
might come up
Anyway,
with some
let's move on.
controversy
Yeah.
later, and what I have been doing rather than playing VR, especially when I've been sick the last 3 days, is I've been hyped about the PlayStation VR 2. I've actually got a new YouTube video. Go check it out and playtest VR about why horror games are going to be next generation on this hardware. But I have been buzzing for the PlayStation VR 2, so I've been googling what's coming out, and it seems like games are getting released for the day of the 22nd out of nowhere. Like today, there was I can't remember what the game was called. It was Garden something. But the game got released for February 22nd. So there's now 35 games.
That's the day.
Now 35 games available on launch day, it might be the best launch lineup ever, depending on how good Horizon is, I think, for any kind of console or anything like that, in terms of how much variety they have. But they also announced that they have over 100 games in development for the PlayStation VR 2, which is quite significant, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I don't know that it's all exclusive.
No, it could be PCVR too. And I expect most of these titles that are, well, I expect all of the titles that are not first party to be on PC as well. Because the PlayStation is effectively a PC, right? But yeah, it gets me excited. It gets me excited. I mean, I wrote down the whole 35 list of games. I'm not going to go through it because we're more of a Quest podcast. But a few highlights that I did want to mention is obviously you got your Horizon, Resident Evil, Gran Turismo, your big games. But I'm intrigued to see what like Pavlov is going to feel like, how Synth Rider is going to feel like, how
Pavlov will not be free, right?
no, I don't think so. I doubt it. I doubt it. But I just want to see how they're going to feel different because of the controllers, right? The controllers with the haptics and such, like pistol whips, going to
Well,
feel
don't the
so
games
different.
have to the games have to implement that, right? Like
Yeah,
I imagine not all of them will.
no, but I expect the launch titles will. I feel like the launch titles, if anything, will,
You think Tentacular is going to implement them?
if it makes sense. If it makes sense. I mean, I don't know if Tentacular is going to make sense to have trigger support. I've not played that game. All I heard was from Gamertag that it's crap, but that's his words, not ours. I think that's what he said. It's either crap or just not very good.
Now
But no,
you've
no, it wasn't. It
misquoted.
wasn't. It
Now we're
wasn't.
screwed.
It wasn't Gamertag. Sorry, I'm sorry,
No, I
Gamertag. It
no
wasn't.
game. It was. I remember Gamertag talking about that game though.
Yeah, yeah. I was wondering if it was 6 Degrees of Freedom that said that. No, I don't want to misquote anyone. Someone said it was crap. But hey, I'm sorry to people who like Tentacular. But there's one thing that I wanted to speak about before we kind of get into the news and part two and such. Uh the PlayStation VR came out, well, Sony came out with this big FAQ of everything that you may need to know about the PlayStation VR ahead of its launch. And the one thing I saw is that the PlayStation VR works without the TV after you
Mm.
set it up, which I thought was very interesting. Like, you don't need a TV plugged into your console. You can just put on your headset and that works as your TV after your initial setup. Which I'm not going to lie, Samson, I've been looking at digital PS5s just to have in my bedroom. So I can, but you can just move my headset on either
It's
one. And
basically the Quest. Yeah.
basically the Quest, and it says on the FAQ that the majority of games will be digital, or all of the games will be digital at launch, but a few will have it physical releases down the road.
Bro,
Um,
you're gonna have to get a PS5 backpack with a power surge thing, and then you got a mobile headset.
yeah, yeah, I don't think that's a great idea. Especially how awkward the shape of the PS5 is. I don't think that's going to fit in a backpack properly anytime soon. But
I have honestly not seen that many, and my cousin has one who has for his birthday saw him, and I saw it standing up, and I was like, holy
PSVR.
Nike.
Yeah,
I think it's
it's big.
huge.
It's big. It's huge, and I actually like how stupid it looks because of the way it looks next to my
You'll need to
TV.
continue on.
Oh, we got Siri saying what you doing
Yeah.
with the PS5. But what I no, the interesting thing on the FAQ too, it said they recommend that the PS5 should be horizontal, laying down, because of just in case the cable like stretches and it pulls your PS5 across the room, which
Yeah.
would be horrifying. But the cable's like 15 feet, so I think I'll be fine because I'm gonna keep it standing up because it looks better standing up.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this question asked about it. Can you play like two player on one PS5? Like, let's say you had a
No.
friend with a PSVR that you can't hook in two.
No, that's on the FAQ as well, actually. They answer everything. This is one of the best FAQs I've ever seen.
Boom.
Like, I could do a YouTube video about the FAQ. That's how good the FAQ is. But no, you cannot. It can only support one PSVR at the moment. And I'm assuming that's gonna be the same case moving forward. Like, can PCs support two VRs at the same time? I don't think it can.
I don't know.
It's
The
not. It's
console's more
definitely
of a
not.
social thing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a common use case
But you
anyway.
could have games where you have people with the controllers and somebody's in VR.
No, not really. No. No, it won't be like that. No, either. Maybe in the future they could come out with a game where it'll be. That's a good idea actually to have someone in VR and someone. I know that there's been games in the past where you can, I'm not sure if it's a VR headset, but you can be playing the game and other people can be on their phones, which mess with
Yeah,
the game.
there's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't know about that working actually. I don't know if I don't think there's a game that supports that yet. But yeah, that's just something to know. And the controllers are not available to be purchased separately either, because it doesn't really make sense unless you break them, right? So that's one other thing to keep in mind. But no, I'm
So
very excited.
how do you replace them?
You just send them back, warranty, yeah, that kind of thing, warranty. Yeah, yeah, your typical
What do
manufacturer's
you break the
warranty.
warranty?
I mean,
You're
your
screwed.
warranty's yeah, you're screwed. Well, that's, yeah, you're screwed. I'm sure they're going to be available to purchase at one point, but right now they're not. But yeah, and there's also a hell of a lot of PS5s in the wild now. It's so easy to get one. Yeah.
Imagine using them for like a flat screen game.
What are you doing with your
Just
hand there?
the controllers of
Right, Roger
just the
that. Roger that.
controllers.
Yeah, Roger that.
Imagine using those with the flat screen PS5 game. That'd
Okay,
be pretty cool.
that's another thing on FAQ. The controllers do not work on flat screen games. Um,
Yet.
but they work through the UI and such. So you can use it for the UI, but as soon as you go into a game, you need to pick up your DualSense
Yeah,
controller, which is
makes
another
sense.
thing too. Like I said, this FAQ is great.
That's because no games have been made for the VR controllers yet in flat screen.
Well, think about, I don't know, do you know the game Dreams at all? It's not technically a game.
Is that the game
Maker more than anything.
involving dreams?
Maybe if your dreams are to make games. But there's a game called Dreams, which is not out for the PS5, which is weird, but it's out on PS4, so it's backwards compatible. And you can technically make proper games through there. It's
Okay.
made by the people who made Little Big Planet. But my point is here that they support the Move controllers, which were the controllers that were used for PlayStation VR 1 to make said games, and is preferred. It's the preferred control method because it's optimized for that. But weirdly enough, on the PS5, it doesn't work with it, right? So, and I saw
But
somebody
those
on
are the
Twitter.
move controllers, though.
Yeah, only on the Move controllers. Yeah, so you need to have Move controllers to still work with Dreams, which is weird that they don't support the VR2 controllers yet. Yet, always keyword yet. You know, things that happen.
Yeah.
Things are
Shall we
happening.
move on?
We shall move on. Let's move on to part two. Let's go to the news.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus. This is part two. We're going to be talking about the news, and let's kick it off, Samson. With I'm gonna let you lead this one. To be honest, the Among Us VR has just teased a new map, a new Polus-inspired map, which is coming soon. First of all, what the hell is Polus? Tell people who that is. Because I don't have a clue what that is.
Polus is the third or fourth map, I believe, they're released in flat screen Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
It's very large. There's a few, there's new tasks, be a few new, see, it because it never had cameras. I'm not sure. I doubt it'll have cameras in this,
Mm-hmm.
but there was this thing called Vitals where you could go to this place and see who's living.
Right.
So you can know if somebody is dead or not, basically.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. And then it did have reactor lights and
The common task
yeah.
there. Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. And you say
But yeah,
bigger.
it's just big. It's
Well,
just big. It's got a lot more rooms that are like really separate. It's got an outside. It's
ooh,
just huge. It's just huge. You know how scaled or the one we used to play is sort of a big circle?
yeah.
Yeah, this is a big like rectangle. And you can
Right.
kind of go anywhere. And there's, rooms in the middle, there's rooms around.
In the flat screen version, can you have more people in that one because it's a bigger map, or is it still the standard size of 10?
I believe in all of them now you can go up to 15. but
Okay.
that was not the map. That's not the biggest map in flat screen.
Right, right. And this is technically not that map 2 that's coming into VR. It's just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
one that's inspired
It's
from it. So it looks very
I'm curious how
maybe they've made it slightly smaller
one to one. Yeah,
because of the VR or such like that. But just a few details on it. There's a teaser trailer out if you want to see it. Players get to vote what the name of the map is called because they haven't decided yet. So you can go onto their Discord and there's like a Google
it's pretty
form
cool.
and you can kind of put in what you think that it should be called. It's coming sometime in 2023. There's no release date, which is kind of a bummer. I was hoping that it would be like within the next couple months, to be honest, but maybe they just.
Take a guess. Take a guess in a month because I got a guess.
I think because they say coming in 2023, I don't think this is going to be out till like June.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I said July.
Yeah, because I would say if they were thinking of coming out Q1 or before like May, I would feel like they would have said it's coming out by like April. Or actually, here's another one. I feel like you'll know the release date at the gaming showcase next month. I
Oh
think
boy.
that, which is meant to is
All right.
normally in March, right? Oh no,
Maybe
April.
they'll have like a bigger, more thorough trailer too.
Yeah, because the gaming showcase is in March or April. I forget now. I
Yeah,
forget
no, sec. I don't
exactly.
know.
Yeah, it's not been announced yet, but I'm pretty sure it's end of March slash beginning of April last time. So I feel like by that point we'll know. And yeah, I'm still going with summer. But they might go, it's available now, as they normally do. Uh, Other details on
Shadow
this,
drop.
they also said it's coming for PlayStation VR 2, but it won't be out on launch day for PSVR 2, so that's going to come later. I don't know how well it's going to do on PSVR 2. I think it's going to be popular, but I feel like this is the game for Quest. Like this is the perfect game for Quest. And I
Depends how many
think
kids are out there on PSVRs.
such an expensive thing, but then all these kids nowadays have expensive things. So who's to say, right? Who's to say? That's true, and most likely it will be crossplay, I would guess, if it is on PSVR 2. But and the last thing I just wanted to mention on this is that they said they're still working on patch 4, which includes all that customization options that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Those are
Um,
exciting.
on the show. Yeah, I'm really excited about those because it's something that you said is needed because right now, if it's 7 or less, there's always one imposter, right? And it's nice. It'll be nice to give you that option to go, oh, there's 6 of us. There's still going to be 2
Yeah, just
imposters
it
or
allows you to
something.
play like so many more games within the game.
Yeah, you can make your own kind of metagame in there.
God damn.
Siri's not happy today. But yeah, you can play your own. They did say because it's going to have up to 1 billion customization options or permutations with all the different ones that you can do, which is going to be very interesting. So, I think that's in a dire need. I think that customization and at least one more map, and this game is going to be
Yeah,
so much better.
it's nice to see they keep working. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll also be fun to. I like in the customization options you can get rid of the taskbar, which
Yeah.
I think that's kind of doesn't break the game, but it's like a sneaky advantage to the crewmates where they can
Yeah, it's
try
like
and
visual
force you.
tasks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like force you to do a task and you wait for the bar to see if it goes up again or not. And also you know when the tasks are about to run out, so you're like, all right, just we've got one more, let's just beat them on tasks kind
Yeah.
of thing. You can't really do that, right? So yeah, I think it's gonna be way better. It's already great, but it's gonna be way better once we have those customization options. Now, I think that will come out within the next month or so. I expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Its beta's gone. The beta's been out there.
Yeah, beta's been out there for a while. For a while. On to the next story. That was obviously Among Us, but another game that you've kind of dipped into, right, with the mods. You dipped into Half-Life yet, the mods for that? Or
Yeah, Half-Life 2.
yeah, so Half-Life
Um,
2 Episode 1 VR mod will release on March 17th. The Episode 2's is going to come out at some
I feel
point
like
as
you
well.
can already play this. Am I wrong? I
You
feel like
you
you can
can
play
play
Half-Life
you
2.
can play Half-Life 2, but not Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
I got you. I got you. Got you. Got you. Got you.
Yeah, it confused me as well. But, I
Glad we
just
clear that up. Yeah, yeah, I was just playing confused because I know
Mhm.
our listeners probably were. So I just wanted,
Did you play
put my
because
shoes
I know you've dipped
under my
into some of the
shoes.
mods before, but I'm not sure if you dipped into a Half-Life mod at all yet.
Not this one, but I did when Half-Life 2 VR mod first came out. I hopped into it, half hour or so probably.
Nice, nice. Are you probably gonna hop into this one?
Yeah,
Try it
it's
out?
free.
Yeah, it's free. You just gotta own the game.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe I got it.
A lot
Yeah.
of times these mods are like they're mods in the end of the day. So they can cause issues like motion sickness, for example, is one of the biggest ones that I found when I played was it Doom? I think I played Doom or Quake 1 or both of them. That it's just it's
I
in
mean, yeah,
VR,
you
but
have to change
it's
the settings. You have to
yeah,
change the settings.
it's not like straight away, okay, this is gonna be great. It's like, whoa, this is super fast because it's just literally you in the game. But I feel like some of our listeners are probably going to be into that, especially the new PCVR owners like Jenna, friend of the show
Yeah,
on our
yeah,
Discord with
that's why
a
we're talking about PCVR now.
yeah, it's gonna
This is
be
all
a
for Jenna.
this
It's
is
all for
all for
Jenna.
Jenna. It's a Jenna episode. We've got Among Us, we got Half-Life PCVR, you know. The next one she might not be happy about though, and that's Pavlov is going to run more efficiently on PSVR 2 than PCVR. Although I don't think she cares about Pavlov because it's not her type of game. But just want to mention this: the dev for Pavlov, David Villarreal, which is a great last name because that's a city and football club, i.e., soccer club for you Americans, reveals that the PSVR 2, for the PSVR 2, there was more room for rendering, probably around 10% above PCVR, just because the console is rendering in a more efficient way. Obviously, with PC,
Well,
there's
yeah.
way more overheads, right? There's other things that it needs to deal with. It's not solely focused on games. And he was comparing that with a 3090 graphics card. So obviously, we have the even further updated ones now. So I'm wondering how they would compare. What are they? What's the new graphics card called? Are they 4090? I don't
The
remember.
newest are 4090s.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wondering how that compares to the PS5 for VR, to be honest. But not
I
many
mean,
people.
I've early on, I feel like I feel like it's got basically a 30 something in it. That's what I always heard
Yeah,
it compared to.
yeah, me too. And it's the size of a 3090 as well. PlayStation. You thought the PlayStation was big. Compare it to a oh no 4090. I think if
As
you
the 40s,
stack
yeah.
4090 next to it, it's massive. Pavlov will also have adaptive trigger support with the PSVR 2, which the reason why I wanted to speak about this story is that is this the start of all PC VR games going to be not much better, but like just the best place to play it is going to be on PlayStation 5 now, moving
No,
forward? No? You don't think so?
no, because
What makes you say that?
P PCs 4080s just came out. PCs are going to be passing PS5 in the next year, and
Mhm. That's true.
PCs are always going. PS5 is stagnant now. Yeah, it's going to be better baseline, but
Sure.
that's because PCs when you release a game on PC, you know it's got to work on the 10 series, the 20 series, all of those. So
Hmm.
you know you have a baseline of PS5. But I'm curious, is this a multiplayer title?
Yeah.
You're gonna dive in?
No.
Okay.
Not unless Pavlov's really cheap on PSVR 2. Because it might be like $10. And if it's like $10,
No, I think
sure.
it's
But
I
I don't
forget how
know.
much it is.
Yeah, I don't know what the price is.
I feel like it was 20.
Yeah, if it's like $10, $20 maybe. Things I'm not much.
$25.
Okay, that extra $5 has now
Hmm.
made me a little bit uneasy on it. So like I don't think so. I'm not a big fan of the multiplayer ones, to be honest. I like multiplayer social VR, i.e. Among Us, i.e. Walkabout, mini golf, the more casual.
Yeah.
And like I said on the
You're
show
not even
before,
your favorite game. You're not playing the multiplayer on.
well, that's because there's no one playing the multiplayer on Medal of Honor. That's more. And plus, I can't even play that game anymore because it doesn't fit on my Quest. But bring it to the PC, play SVR, I say. But no, I think, like I've said before on this show, the Quest 2 is always going to be like my multiplayer VR title, and I mean VR headset, and the PlayStation VR is only for my big single player kind of games. And
Mhm.
that's how I use my PlayStation 5 as well. Like that, I'm still playing Dead Space. I've not really actually got into it the last few days because I've been sick, but like that's a big single player game. It's not a multiplayer game. Like I don't run
Right.
out and buy Call of Duty or any of these multiplayer focused games just because it's just
Are you a FIFA guy?
I love FIFA, yeah, but I also get burnt out of FIFA after the first 2 months because I play it to death, and then yeah, the way they do Ultimate Team and such. I'm not going to talk about FIFA too
I
much because
stay
I'm
away
sure
from that.
most people don't like it, but I love FIFA. I bought FIFA 23 when it came out, and I got super into it for 2 months, and I was like, I can't play this. I'm wasting so much time playing this game. I need to. So I just sold it, and I think I bought something else instead. Don't remember
Well, you
what,
had a
but
physical copy.
yeah, I normally buy physical copies for games that I know I'm going to sell. That's why I wish there was a hard copy of like Horizon, Call of the Mountain, because I feel like that's a game that I'm gonna play. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it because knowing my track record for VR titles, I don't finish these games. But I think I'm gonna play it quite a lot, and then at some point go, okay, I want to move on to the next thing, and I would wish I could
See,
just trade it in and get something else.
I was wondering this because I was like, I could buy a PSVR and just take it to my friends' places who I knew I have PS5s, but I can't. There's no physical. I can't bring the games,
Not yet,
and
no,
they're not gonna buy them.
no, not
And
yet,
the games
no.
aren't attached to my headset, so it's just like, all right,
Yeah, I
here
know.
we are.
That's a shame, isn't it?
You
Yeah, that's
can't
a shame.
share it with anybody.
Not yet, no. I mean, they said they're going to do some, and I know there's some companies that have already announced, like the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners are coming out with a double pack, in March, for example. Saints and Sinners 2 comes out on. Does it come out on release? No, it doesn't actually. It comes out in March as well. I think it got delayed to March. But yeah, the physical comes in March as well, is what they said, as well as some other titles that are actually coming out on the 22nd, but physical's coming out later. So yeah, the only two physical games are Resident Evil and Gran Turismo because they're not actually, VR first games. So yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, I'm just curious because obviously with the PC VR, sure, it's going to have the better graphics card for some people, right? Who want to fork out that much cash, but the headset itself is probably going to be the best headset out of all of them with all the features and such. I mean, there could be an argument
I
that the
mean,
Valve is still better in some aspects, but
I think with where prices have now dropped, you could probably get yourself a G2 with a pretty good graphics card PC for the same cost as a PSVR and a PlayStation.
G2's the HP, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, it's an interesting debate. I saw someone on Twitter the other today or the other day saying, "Where what do you think the VR hierarchy is going to be? Is it going to be PCVR first and then standalone and then PSVR 2?" And I thought, no, it's going to be standalone is going to be first, what most developers go for because there's so many headsets on there, and then probably the PSVR 2. Because like you said, everyone's got a 3090 technically who own a PS5, so they can optimize for that. And then it would be a
You think
PC. But
more
then
people have PSVR 2 than PCVR?
no, not yet. That's a good question, actually. Like, not yet, but in a year's time, if we revisit that, I wonder what the numbers are like. I wonder what the numbers are like, you know? Because first of all, the PS5's been extinct for so long, and now you can literally walk into the Best Buy and go grab one if you wanted to. They're everywhere now. And second, the PlayStation VR 2 is just coming out now, so I don't think yet, but that's an interesting question. If any of the listeners or viewers are, have an opinion on that, let us know in the Discord or in the YouTube comments. To be honest, will the PSVR 2 user base be more than the PC VR user base? Not counting maybe the Quest users, because I feel like that's a different,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, if they're using their Quest on a PC or to
true,
use a PC.
true. That could be the skew that makes PCVR more popular just because of the Quest 2, the standalone headset. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Shall
let's
we
move
move
on.
on to another topic for Jenna?
Another PCVR topic.
Yeah.
Do you wanna read this one out?
Sure. It's we got some Steam Fest going on currently. Steam Fest 2023 because that's the year it is now. It's gone live with a lot of PCVR demos. And the highlights of these first no, I'll read all of Upload's PCVR highlights here.
Go for it.
There's Formula Retro Racing, sort of like Daytona USA if you're a Sega person. Gazlers, it's an on-rails co-op VR shooter.
Yeah.
That one looks particularly good. I downloaded that one. I haven't gotten in it yet.
Like a roller
Uh,
coaster shooter, right? I
yeah,
think. Yeah,
and it's got cool, funky graphics.
yeah.
Uh, you Petrograd 2, The Lost Station. I played the first one, probably like half of it, I imagine. I enjoyed it. It was cool movement.
Hmm.
But I just like gave up on it. Never went back to it. It's a Metroidvania, so you can learn new things, double back.
Yeah.
Oh, cool! I've discovered stuff. Uh, VR
I think it's Vrekken.
Vrekken,
I think
Vrekken.
they're trying to be
Oh,
like
like Tekken.
Tekken, yeah, Tekken
Gotcha.
but Vrekken because of VR Ekken.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's creative. Physics beat 'em up and self-defense trainer. It looks funky janky in like the very little I watched.
I'm
But you
curious
know,
about the self-defense trainer purpose of it. Like, is it serious or is it just like I don't know.
yes, I too am curious.
Can I
Uh,
get a black belt by playing Vrekken is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Then there's Ornament Express, which is a puzzler. I didn't really read about that one. And Band Space, which looks identical to Rock Band. And
Mhm.
that looks pretty cool. Although I think you need friends. It's a co-op game.
Yeah.
I also installed the Formula Retro Racing. I'm interested in that one as well.
Yeah, let us know
And
next week if you get to play any of those and
it goes until the 13th. So get your demo playing in this week, Jenna. They're all free.
yeah, so all of these ones that we just mentioned, they all have demos, right? Yeah.
I
So,
believe so, yeah.
well, most of them, and that's not like we only just said what the highlights that Upload
Yeah,
VR said.
there's a boatload more.
There's loads, yeah. There's loads of PCVR games that got
Heck,
announced.
if you're all into, flat gaming, there's a bunch of flat games too.
Yeah, way more, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me know, or Samson, let the people know if you play any of these before next week.
I'll have to. I'll have to.
Yeah. At least play one. That's it. I'm holding
That's
you
a
to it.
Samson promise.
That's ooh.
I'm gonna play two. I guarantee I play two.
Okay. Okay. Roger that. Roger that. Let's
Guaranteed.
move on to
Guaranteed.
back to what the pod. We spoke a lot about PlayStation and a lot about PCVR. Let's bring it back to the Quest that we normally talk about here on the show every single week. The Quest 3 has been in the news. Meta CTO Andrew Bosworth had a long and lengthy Q&A as he normally does on Instagram. And one of the things he said that facial tracking for consumer headsets is too costly, and you're most likely not going to see it for years on the consumer headset, i.e. Quest 3 and so forth. And I thought this was interesting because I didn't expect facial
Interesting?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. You know why? Because like facial tracking I never expected to be on the Quest 3 for a start. I didn't think it
Yeah,
was
that's what I mean. Me
necessary.
neither.
But
Yeah.
the interesting part for me when he says it's too costly, HTC has like a $99 add-on to add facial tracking onto their headsets. You know, maybe it's too costly to have one built in rather than have it
Yeah.
add on, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I was just curious to me. I was like, well, if they wanted to have a version of facial tracking, I'm sure they could bring out like an add-on
You think
like
yeah, they're like just like burning money up. They're not trying to create some new hardware like that that's not gonna be bought. Like
that's true. I was just wondering if
Facebook
they
can't
wanted
deal with
to
that.
like push a cheaper version to get their
Who's buying that, dude?
people who don't want to spend so much money on Quest Pros and want to have the same meeting experiences. That's all I can
Yeah,
think of.
yeah. Who? Yeah, who?
I don't
These
know.
people don't exist.
I'm not one of those.
People don't. You just this is
Everyone I know
fraudulent.
who had the Quest Pro, the first thing they did was like try and stick their tongue out in the mirror, and that's about it. It's just, So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I was just interested because they said it was too costly, but then HTC do a $99 add-on which adds facial tracking. At the same time, it's also a PCVR headset, so it might be less costly to run because it can
This
use
is
PC.
this is separate from eye tracking. Am I wrong?
Yes, technically. I mean, the eyes are part of your face.
You could have eye tracking separate from face tracking.
Yes, I would say
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
But your eyes are part of your face, as far as I'm
yes.
aware.
Eye tracking way more valuable and important, I think, than
Yeah.
entire face.
Well, it's what
And if
I
it's cheaper and easier to implement, Shove that right in there.
It depends
This is not surprising.
how well, I don't know if how well eye tracking is going to do in PlayStation because PlayStation VR is prioritizing eye tracking for a lot of its games. When I say prioritizing, I'm meaning you can use the eye
Yeah,
tracking to
to
control the
select things.
menus.
Yeah.
In the YouTube video I put out, I talk about how horror games are going to use it to make sure
Nice
you're not
plug. Nice plug.
blinking and such. Yeah, we always got to plug it. Did well, by the way. It's on 3,000 views in like a couple of days. It's not bad. It's not bad
There we go.
for someone who's very rusty at the YouTube game. But yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be a priority. I feel like hand tracking is more of a priority for them than eye
Yep.
tracking anyway. It's going to be worth it. But to follow on that, Mark Zuckerberg was also talking at an earnings call, and he said later this year, we're going to launch our next gen consumer headset, as we all know is going to be the Quest 3, which will feature meta reality as well. Meta reality, i.e., mixed reality.
Color pass through.
Yeah, color pass through.
Also, not really a surprise to me. Both of these news stories were not surprises to me. I gotta be
No, they're
honest.
not. They're not surprises. No, they're not surprises, but they're confirmations of what we're
Yeah,
kind of going to
this
see.
is
And
true.
I feel like this is, we spoke about the renders a couple weeks ago, I think, with the Sadly It's Bradley's renders that came out, and it looks like they're getting more true in terms of the features that they're saying.
I'm excited for the Quest 3.
I'm buzz.
I think
That's me, my most excited headset, and I'm buzzing for the PlayStation. But this is
I think I'm
Quest
gonna
is
get
most excited. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna get one.
just
I think
one.
I'm gonna get one.
Didn't you buy like three Quest 2s last time
Yeah, but
for
I'm down to
yourself?
but they were cheaper, first of all. Let's see if it comes out
Facts.
at 300.
Facts.
Uh
They did say three
second
to
of all,
500.
I'm back down to one.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
did s- I did
That's true.
sell one, and I would have sold the other one, but
Did you give it away, right?
yeah, I gave it to my
That's
friend's kid.
fair. That's fair. But I know. I think I've said this before, and we'll get to it once we do predictions later on. But I think we did this on the top of the year actually when we did predictions. But I can see them doing a $300 one that just doesn't include controllers because
Right.
people might own the Quest Pro ones now, and they may work. And it'd be cool if you could use the Quest
Yeah.
2 controllers, and that would be even better because then a
That'd be
lot of
cool.
people,
You know it'd be cool.
what?
Use BS5 controllers. That would be cool.
That would make no sense. That will make just no sense at all.
That would
At all. Make no sense. But they'll be cool if they could just be backwards compatible in controllers. I don't expect them to be, but I expect them to at least, because the Quest Pro controllers are already confirmed to be controllers that can be used for Quest 3. I expect a SKU that doesn't have any controllers and just to be 300, and then the SKU for 256 will be 500, and there'll be no 128 because that's a bad
can
idea.
can you use Quest 1 controllers with the Quest 2?
No, no, I don't think so. I feel like I would have known. I'm pretty sure no. Let me know in the Discord if we're definitely wrong. We might need a "You're Wrong" channel on Discord
Yeah.
if we get a lot of stuff wrong, so people can just call us
We'll
out.
see how much stuff we get wrong. Let's
Yeah,
relax.
yeah. If we're wrong, just tell us in the Discord normal chat, and then if it gets out of hand, then we'll create a
I
channel.
I do think I'll be able to convince more people to get a Quest 3 than I was able to convince to get a Quest 2.
Why is that?
It was, well, first of all, the number's very low. Because most
Because
people,
most
most
people
people I
got
just got it for. I just got it for them. I never actually convinced them.
fair enough.
I just think it'll be more impressive. It's going to feel like form factor. It's going to like the things that are easier to sell to general public, I think
Yeah,
are gonna finally be getting there at that same price, right? So it's
yeah,
going to be way thinner. It's going to be lighter.
yeah.
It's going to feel better. It's not going to feel like you're like it's FOV is probably going to be about the same, I imagine, but it might feel a little bit less like goggles.
Might be a little bit bigger. Because if it's using pancake lenses like the Quest Pro is, it's going to feel better in terms
Yeah.
of the FOV. FOV was slightly bigger on the Quest Pro, but I think because of the way the lenses are made, you can get them closer to your face, so the FOV does
So,
look
yeah.
bigger as well, which I've heard is a bit of an issue with the PSVR 2, and we'll find out in 2 weeks' time when I get it. But because how big and bulky, it's classic VR headset style, you're a bit further away from the lenses, so the FOV actually suffers from
Yeah,
there,
because
which is
they're
interesting.
what's that type of lens called?
Fat
I forget.
lenses.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah,
That's all I could think of beginning with F.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I kind of agree. I think the Quest 3 is going to sell like hotcakes. And also, I didn't include it in our script for the news stories, but because I didn't think it was relevant, but this kind of is now, is they're finally acquiring Within, who owns Supernatural.
Yeah,
Which
I've
I thought
seen
was going
that.
to happen this time last year, but because of some FTC issues, it never happened. But it looks like it's about to go through now. And I think they're going to go all in on fitness for the Quest 3 because I'm like I said before, I've looked in the Supernatural community on Facebook. There's freaking thousands and thousands of people
It's
in there,
huge. It's huge.
and there's so many just like moms and
Yeah.
even young grandmas who have been using it for Supernatural. And I was like, this is amazing. And to change the, make the form factor better, i.e., lighter and thinner and such, it's gonna be a massive hit. I think a lot of people are going to go for it.
It's
A lot
probably
of people
bigger
go for it.
than the Echo VR community. Am I right?
Uh, well, I
Oh, too
mean,
soon?
let's talk about that now. Let's go about that
Oh,
now.
oh, I segued perfectly. Echo
He's
VR shut down or it will be shut down on August 1st. Ready at Dawn
yeah,
announced. And Boz talked about it in his Instagram as well.
yeah.
But yeah, the multiplayer servers close in August. Ready at Dawn's moving on to their next project. Uh, quote, at Ready at Dawn, we pride ourselves on being open and communicative with our community. To that end, we have news to share. And after many discussions internally and with our partners at Meta, we made the difficult decision to shut down Echo VR. And then Boz told us it was his decision, so that's kind of funny.
Oh man, it actually kind of made me laugh the way the boss just was like, yeah, it was just my
Totally
decision
undermined it. Totally undermined it.
completely. Now, this came out after we recorded the podcast last week. So when the podcast came out, obviously it already came out, but we had talked about it. Came out with so much backlash online. Everyone panicking like this is a problem of not owning your games, having everything digitally and stuff. I know what my
Well,
thoughts
and
are, but
shutting down a community that's
and
like
shutting down a
pretty, and
community.
the VR esport.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And like people lost it. And I think it wasn't the only game. I think there was another game that people liked on PCVR that also got shut down as well at the same kind of time. But what do you like? Does it bother you at all?
This one does. This one's a pretty active community.
Yeah,
And it's a free game. It was like a decent game to like intro, like, hey, somebody just got a quest. Yo,
yeah,
download Echo VR if you want to try a multiplayer game.
yeah, yeah.
Um, the game itself is pretty cool freaking concepts, right? Like,
It's esport as well. Like it became a
yeah,
decently big
I
esport.
didn't play it too much, but I did play it when I first got my quest.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm.
and yeah, I just think it had a pretty solid community. And like, if I, like if the Walkabout servers shut down, that'd suck, dude. They're
Of
gonna shut
course,
down eventually. The
of
Walkabout
course,
servers will one day shut down.
of
That's
course. But
sad.
so this is my reasoning to it, where I don't get why the fuss is so much. I understand it sucks.
Because it's so
It.
soon. It's so soon, dude.
What do you mean it's so soon in terms of when it's
And
gonna
this,
shut
like,
down?
yeah, the game's well, then the game's not old, and
The
like,
game's been out since 2017. Like that's 6 years. I know that's not that too like okay. Here's my argument, right? Like it's a bummer. And for me, it doesn't affect me much because I don't play the game and I can understand that someone who's like deep into Echo VR and loves it and that's the game they always play is like fair enough, right? I am that sucks. Bars also said in his Ask Me Anything that there was like 10 to 15,000 active players on there. So, I mean, probably not that much compared to a lot of games on VR, like Walkabout and such, but still, that's 10 to 15,000 people, right? And that's fair. But this happens all the time. Like, it's a multiplayer game. You can't just expect a team to keep running and pay for those servers to keep
dude,
running.
Dude, listen to this. Right now, you
Yeah,
can go online and play FIFA 16.
you can.
The FIFA 16 servers are still live.
Who's playing FIFA 16 right now?
I don't know. They do close in a week. I'm not gonna lie. But that's friggin' nuts, dude. And
That
that
is
is
nuts.
older
Then Echo
than
VR.
Ego VR.
I agree, and probably got a less user base than
Tens of
Echo
thousands? Yeah.
VR. It's probably not got. It's probably got like 10 people on there who play it just for fun. To be fair, FIFA
Yeah.
16 was
Still only
a
like PS2. Yeah.
FIFA 16 still. It's not PS2, it's definitely PS4, but like still one of the best FIFAs out there. So I can understand going back. And I know a lot of people were like when Call of Duty got bigger and bigger, a lot of people still played Modern Warfare, the OG, rather than going to War at War or such, because they preferred it and whatnot. But yeah,
FIFA 16 did make it back to the 360. Well, anyway,
and I mean with FIFA, when FIFA comes out, it normally releases on everything that's possibly
that's
out.
fair.
Like FIFA on the PS4 probably came out on
Yeah.
PS2 as well. But
Anyway, I mean, yeah, the Echo VR things, it's like it sucks, and it's just it's a pretty big like VR community as far as VR games go, right? Like
yeah,
of all the VR multiplayer games, like it's pretty.
I think it sucks, but like I said, it's an online game that this is just what happens nowadays. Like if this was a single player game with an online component, sure, you'll always be able to play the single player. They're not gonna. It's not like when you buy digital games, some people say you don't really own the title. I
But
guess
dude,
technically not, but if it was a single player, you'll still have it on your system that you can play,
it's not
right?
hard to get in a lobby. Like I feel like yeah, close down the servers was like you can't get a lobby in your region type of deal, but like it's a lot of people playing this game. I don't know. I feel like we should move on, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious though, if anyone's listening or watching plays Echo VR and is pretty bummed out by this, let us know because I'm really curious to hear that perspective. You're right though, like if this happened to Walkabout Mini Golf, we'll be devastated. But it won't. It won't because
Good.
it's such a used game. But
That's
anyway,
what
well,
people said about Echo when it came out, dude. I bet.
yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Let's move on. Let's move on before we keep waffling about whether
Yeah,
this is a good
let's go to
idea
the
or not.
Retropolis too. Never say
Uh
goodbye.
no,
You know,
never
we,
say
we
goodbye
skipping
to
that
this
one?
one. No, no, let's go into it. I'll read out this one. So Metropolis 2 just got announced that will arrive on major VR platforms this year. Quote from the devs or team. I actually don't know where this quote came from. I did not write who. Metropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye also features I obviously did the sub quote here, but also features enchanted logic puzzles, new rotation mechanics, and movement between different environments, offering a more challenging adventure with substantially longer play time than the previous game. Thank God. The improved graphics and character animation. With improved graphics and character animation, returning to Metropolis is more jaw-dropping than ever. That was only like a subtract from their super long quote, as you can probably tell. But I'm so excited for this one because Metropolis 2 1 was really good, like really good. And the problem with it, it was only 45 minutes
Too
long.
short.
Too short.
Yeah, there was one time I got stuck for a little bit, so my play session was a little longer.
Sure,
Uh,
sure, sure.
but yeah, it's a good point and clicker.
It's a great point and clicker. The first one, if you've not played it, definitely go for it. It's not expensive by any stretch of the imagination. I don't remember the cost, but maybe 10 to 15 tops. But yeah, the first part of the first game was very short, and then the second part was a bit longer, and it was better because of that as well.
It's
Um,
$9.99 on Steam, so I'm gonna
yeah,
assume it's the same.
it's $10. If you've not played this game, definitely go for it. It's a very relaxing and fun point and click adventure, like a detective kind of game. What is a detective game? Highly recommend. Two, I am buzzing for. It says substantially longer, so maybe it can stretch 2 hours. That would be great. If you can double the time or so, double a bit. If you get to 2 hours of gameplay time, and it'd probably be 15, $20, that's well worth it. That's well worth it. Because that's the only problem with it, is that
I'm
it's
curious how
too
much it is.
short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just too short. So I think this is the one where another game like the Among Us DLC, the new map that we will probably get an announcement for during the showcase. We'll probably realize, oh, this is coming out for the summer, probably. But yeah, I'm so excited, and I know Kimberly, fan of the show, is super excited
Also
about
loves it.
this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. So Metropolis One, if you haven't played it, go get it. It's worth it. It's worth every cent or penny or lira
Unless you're
or
like into
rupee.
multiplayer shooters.
Yeah, unless you're. I was gonna make an Echo VR joke, but we're gonna lose our followers. Anyway, so that's the end of part two. Let's move on to part three, where we'll go through games out this week and anything else. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube, Spotify, and even Apple Podcasts. And if you really like us and you want to throw us $1, join us on patreon.com/letstalkoculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part three, games out this week and anything else. Samson, kick it off because this is the long one and I don't have much of a voice left.
All right, I'm going to begin with my anything else. And I'm just going to say I love Gyarados, my favorite Pokemon. So I'm so happy I finally got him. Anyway, just stuck that right in there.
Wow,
All right.
I have thoughts on that, but anyway, continue. I would end with thoughts, but continue.
Barbaria 2-9. That's February 9th for all of you people who do that in the other way and thought I was talking about September 2nd. Do you have what it takes to be the mightiest in Barbaria? Welcome to a brutal world where visceral motion-controlled combat blends seamlessly with God-scale base building and asynchronous multiplayer raids. Use fists, axes, swords, bows, rocks, or anything you can grab to dominate your foes in intense first-person combat. Then jump out of your immortal form and watch your minions carry on the battle while you rain down meteors from above. Systematic combat, versatile enemy AI, and player-created defenses make every battle a unique experience.
I don't think it's an experience in the.
Yeah, I threw that in there.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this in length last week, to be honest, when it got announced. I don't know if it's a game for me, but I'm very curious because I think we spoke about it last week where we said the combat part looks like Gorn, right? But then you have a full third person mode where you're in like godlike tier and such. It's a hard one, like we mentioned last week, it's a hard one to describe by watching the trailer. We still kind of don't really know. So I'm very curious to see what
sort of like a tabletop-y. It's a bit more tabletop-y, I think, than we kind of described.
Yeah, it's one of
In
those
God mode.
if you like those strategic games where tower defense kind of thing,
Yeah.
I used to love the tower defense
I
on
don't think it's
iPhone.
tower defense-y, but that is a good. I feel like that's a decent.
Well, the player can create defenses and then you can try and attack them and such. So it does have tower defense elements of it. And
Yeah.
like I was about to say, I used to love tower defense on iPhone. When the like iPod Touch and iPhone first came out, I had there's a game called Field Runners, and it was a tower defense game, and I put hours into that. Hours.
I mean, I like the archery tower defense game. I forget what it's called right now. The Elven Assassin.
Yeah.
It's decent. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like this might do well. I'm curious. But we'll see. We'll see. Just because I like the art style. The art style is beautiful. Very Gorn-esque, like I mentioned.
Did you want me to read the second one?
Nah, I can do it. I have a bit of throat left. Windlands 2. It's out right now. If it's $25 on the store, I think it's $25. It's actually $28.99 Canadian, so I translated it in my head to be 25. It makes sense to me. Anyway, also wanted to mention that this game is intense. There's an intense factor on this one. Windlands 2, return to the world of Windlands alone or with friends. Armed with grappling hooks and a bow, soar through the ruins of a fallen world. Embark on a journey to destroy the gigantic. Oh, just gigantic. I say gigantic. God damn it.
It's not a Pokemon, man. It's not a Giga Titan.
Gigantic titans is what I meant to say, and save the world from an ancient danger. This is already out. There's already reviews, and a lot of people love this game. A lot of content creators love this game.
I think 3DOF said it could be a little bit better.
6DOF?
Auditorially. Yes, that's what I meant. They were probably once 3DOF.
They probably were, yeah,
back in the day. Yeah,
Back
they
on the
didn't exist then, I bet.
Oculus Go days.
I'll hop into this one
Skeever likes it.
sometime.
Skeever's a big
Uh,
fan of it.
I
Friend of
won
the
it
show.
in the gamertag Discord, so it's in my library,
Oh,
but
nice.
I'm not guaranteeing I play that one this week, but I will hop in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm curious. Did you ever play the first one?
No, but that's also in my library. But so watching this, it reminds me a bit of Grab. Like you can only
Yeah.
grapple on the green things. I was like, this is identical to Grab.
Mm, mm.
I don't know. I'll hop into it. I'll hop into it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it myself. It is a co-op game if you want to play co-op or alone or with friends, as I mentioned. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's for me. Probably plus I got the PSVRs coming out soon. I've got a lot of games. But yeah, I got very good reviews. So if you played the first one or you're curious about it, then it might be worth it if you like
I
it.
don't know that I would have bought it. In fact, I'm pretty certain I wouldn't have bought it, but I want it. So here I am. I'll play it.
You play it, but no guarantee for next week. There's no Samsung promise
Yeah,
on that.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. You can only guarantee so much. I do, as of right now, have an open weekend, but I do also really want to try to get to that VR arcade and see what that's like.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Wait, were you going to Bubbler? Is that where
yeah,
you're
that's where I
going?
want to go, dude. That's where I want to go. I haven't been yet.
Oh my gosh, you should record like a vlog for the Patreons
We'll
or the Discord people,
we'll see. We'll
just
see.
to see if you want to. Yeah, it's up to you. But yeah, there we go. I'm trying to think of anything else. I'm looking at the podcast schedule. I think next week's a normal episode, but the week after will be a PSVR 2 episode.
Okay.
I know this is
You
Let's
know
Talk
what?
Oculus.
Just to counter that, I'm I'm guaranteeing those two demos and two AR titles with my Tilt 5 because there's also two that I
For
bought that
next
I'm curious
week.
about. Yeah, dude, I got this.
Okay.
I'm
Big,
not gonna
big.
play them. I'm not gonna beat them all, dude. But I'll get in like 20 to 30 minutes in them all for sure. Guarantee that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because the PlayStation VR is coming out, this is still Let's Talk Oculus. This is still a Quest focused podcast. But because obviously how big
I
this
feel like we're a
is,
VR podcast, dude. You don't need to pigeonhole us in here, man.
well, I don't know. I
Nobody's
just
telling
want
you to do
a lot
this.
of people go to this because it is more for Quest more than anything, and we're gonna stay like that. I just wanted to point it out there for whoever's listening this far in that there's gonna be a
Hey,
couple
Jenna.
episodes or so that are gonna be primarily on the PlayStation, just because it's coming out. But it's not gonna be the main focus, but it is gonna be for a couple. We're gonna turn into Let's Talk PlayStation. But yeah, we're also, I know we've got PJ, friend of the show, who's gonna also come on the show and talk about PlayStation
Yeah,
VR
he's excited
later
about
on.
his.
Yeah, that'll be early March and such, which is cool. Anything else, Samson? Is there anything non-VR that you're gonna be excited to continue playing this week? You're gonna continue playing Ruby?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, I'm gonna have to take a break to get in these VR titles for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been playing my Analog Pocket daily, and in fact, I have been thinking about possibly selling the Steam Deck at
Yeah.
this point.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, I haven't sold myself on that
I'm
one yet.
I'm I want to dive into that topic, but we'll save it next time because I swear last week you said you love the Steam Deck and that's one that you'll
Yeah,
keep.
yeah, because I love them all, but it's like I can only have so much
Yeah,
use for so many handhelds here.
yeah, that's fair. Now that you got the analog pocket, for me, I think be interesting this week in terms of how much VR I'll get in, but I'll see if I can play a little bit. I can shake off this sickness, to be honest, more than anything. But in terms of YouTube, next week I should have my updated on my fitness. After 1 month, if you're following me on my fitness journey, in the start of January, I uploaded the beginning, which is using Supernatural to lose weight and such. I was meant to coming out with the new one this week, but since I've been sick, I was not been able to record. So next week, I should have my update of how much pounds I've lost. Shout out to Kimberly, by the way. I'm not going to reveal her stats and such that she posted privately, but she's done incredibly well for the first month. So well done to Kimberly for crushing it, and I hope February is going well. And everyone else is doing the fitness journey with me
Keep it up.
on the YouTube. Definitely, definitely. All right, that will wrap up our show for today. I will speak to you next week when my voice gets
This is
better.
this is my sign off.
Yep, yeah. Bye, everyone.